Have you ever sat in front of the examiner, got your cue card, and then thought, oh no, what should I say now? If that's you, don't worry. It's Abra here with another IELTS video. In this video, I'll show you how to handle speaking part 2 with confidence, and I'll equip you with the strategies, techniques, and tips to better handle this part of speaking exam. Let me share with you some important information regarding the IELTS Speaking Part 2. It usually lasts about 3 to 4 minutes, and you get 1 minute to prepare what you need to speak based on the topic, and then you can speak minimum 1 minute and maximum 2 minutes. So it's a good idea to go, 2 minutes plus. And you'll be given a cue card with prompts. And you need to include these prompts while speaking. Some of the common topics that are usually asked in this part of the speaking exam are like describe a person or place or thing, like talk about a memorable event or experience. So for example, describe a person. Now, who is this person? Yeah. And when you met him, or where did you meet him? Okay. And why you still remember? Or maybe describe a place and where was it? Yeah. What did you do there? And how did you feel about this place, and so on. Let me equip you with some strategies to deal with this type of question. So when you have 1 minute to prepare, looking at the cue card, you can just jot down important points. It's not a good idea to write whole sentences because you won't be able to write everything and then you won't be able to use them. So it's useless. So the best thing is to write just points, keywords that you can use while talking. You can also, decide which point you're going to make first, then second, then third, and it's better if you do it in a chronological order. Okay, and it's useful if you link your ideas, to emotions or your opinions, and if you use a mind map, that really helps you give a very structured talk on the topic using prompts. So let me tell you something what you can do while you're preparing. You can just write, a timeline or maybe list of events that you will be talking in order. It's better if you can write 3-4 topic related, vocabulary, because then it will help you while using it. You won't be saying the same word again and again because you have lots of synonymous words there that you can use, or different words related to the theme that you are talking on. If you can recollect, you can also make good use of some idiomatic expressions or beautiful phrases or felicitous phrases that you know, because it leaves a good impression upon the examiner when you are able to use uncommon words or some beautiful idiomatic expressions. You can also express your feeling or opinion, right? So here is the question. Okay, it goes like this. Describe a person who has been an important influence in your life. You should say who this person is, how long you have known him or her, why you chose this person, how this person has influenced your life, and explain how you feel about him or her. So IELTS part 2 question is usually like this. Now, when you get a question like this, you need to have a strategy, how you're going to, take notes, how you're going to collect points based on this. So you can have a, mind map like this. Like you can decide you are going to talk about your grandmother. So first you need to decide who you are going to talk about. So my grandmother. Now, if I talk about my grandmother, what should I say first? So how long? So first point, how long? How long have you known her? All my life. Second point, why? Why do I want to talk about her? Because she looked after me when I was young. Yeah. My parents were working, both of them were working. Yeah. They were pretty busy. Third point, influence. Yeah. Why does she have so much influence on me? Calm and cool, taught me to read, write, to work hard, about my culture. Number 4. Yeah. What kind of feelings do I have? Love, respect, admiration, sometimes worry. So as you can see, just important words or phrases and keywords, not full sentences. So when you want to start talking, you can take a look at the first point and maybe you can talk about it and then move on to the second point, and then explain your point, give some examples, yeah, and then move on. So you have to do the same with all the points here. And then you can easily get past 2 minutes plus. Let's have a look at some of the sentences starters that can be very handy for you while you're dealing with speaking part 2. One experience I'll never forget was, and then you can continue. If I had to talk about someone important in my life, I would definitely talk about my grandmother. Let me tell you about a place that really stood out. And then you can name the place and then you can continue talking about it. So, and you should also pay heed to tone shifts and natural rhythm. Okay, like the tone that you're using, and make sure that you're speaking, at a natural pace. Also, you're speaking in a natural manner. Some of the phrases you can use to maintain flow. Right? So to begin with, later on, what really stood out was, and then you can add your ideas. If I think back, and then you can say, to wrap it up when you are trying to round off, yeah, before you conclude. Some of the booster tips, like something that will help you move your score up. Fluency. You need to speak continuously with few pauses. You can take pauses if required, like you must take pauses where appropriate, where necessary. Coherence. Use connectors like firstly, after that, finally, right? Because if you use connectors, it helps you deliver a talk in a very structured manner, and one sentence follows another in a logical manner. So they remain connected to each other logically. And when you use, big adjectives and idioms, you are giving something for the examiner to assess you for vocabulary and a range of vocabulary, and maybe uncommon words, idioms, phrasal verbs, and so on. So you are using a variety of different types of words and phrases. Pronunciation. Make sure whatever you say it with clarity. You use the right stress, intonation, and you articulate everything very clearly. Sample cue card. Yeah. So if you describe a memorable journey you took, you should say where you went, who you went with, what you did there, why it was memorable. So we call it WH. Yeah. Using WH. This is called WH strategy, like who, where, what, why. Okay. So where you went, you can, the topic is describe a memorable journey you took. So where you went. First, where? Well, I would like to talk about a journey I took to Istanbul, Turkey, about 2 years ago. It was my first time visiting that city, and I had always dreamt of seeing its history and culture in person. Now, who you went with? I went there with one of my close friends, and we planned everything together, from the flights to the hotel. Traveling with a friend made the trip much more enjoyable because we could share experiences and help each other. What you did there? During the trip, we visited some famous landmarks such as the Hagia Sophia, the Blue Mosque, and the Grand Bazaar. We also took a boat trip along the Bosphorus, which gave us amazing views of both the European and Asian sides of the city. Apart from sightseeing, we tried a lot of delicious Turkish food like kebabs and baklava, which I still remember very clearly. Why it was memorable? This journey was truly memorable because it was my first time traveling outside my country with a friend rather than with my family. I felt more independent and responsible, and at the same time, I learned a lot about Turkish culture and history. Even now, when I look at the photos, I feel happy and motivated to travel more in the future. Now, just to guide you how you can structure your talk if you get a topic like this, so I highlighted the prompts in yellow, but you don't have to, discuss or mention the prompts. Yeah, you can just take a look at the prompts and you can speak just like this. So you need to deliver a structured talk on the topic given here like this. Maybe you can take a picture and you can model your answer like this. Pronunciation and delivery tips. Chunking is also very important. Now, another thing is really important, rising and falling intonation, natural pauses. So we are going to look at each of these items a bit later. Look at chunking. So what is chunking? Breaking a speech into meaningful units, not just word by word. And why do we need to do it? It makes our speech sound more natural, easier to follow, and closer to native-like rhythm. Let me give you some examples here. Look, if you have to say your name, or someone has to say, my name is Anna. I am from New Zealand. It sounds so robotic. It's not natural way of speaking. So you have to speak with chunking like this. My name is Anna. I'm from New Zealand. So my name is Anna in one chunk. I'm from New Zealand in another chunk. Let's have a look at some more example for daily conversation. Sorry, I'm late. The traffic was terrible. So sorry, I'm late in one chunk. The traffic was terrible with another jump. And in between you have a natural pause. What do you usually do at the weekend? I'd like a cup of coffee with milk, please. So when you say like this, it sounds natural, and then it's easier to assimilate the information. Yeah, it's easy to follow the conversation. Let's have a look at some of the examples of falling and rising tone. Now, what is intonation? Okay. Intonation helps understand the difference, and it is used in a natural way. Let's have a look at some of the examples here. Falling tone, where you can use your falling tone. For statements, for WH question, for command, certainty, and finality. Like a statements. Let's have a look at some of the examples of a statement. My name is Anna. Anna with falling tone. I live in Jeddah. Falling tone. In WH questions, where are you from? What's your name? With falling tone. With commands, sit down. Yeah, with falling tone. Now let's look at some of the examples of rising tone. When do we use it? We use it with yes-no questions, not with WH questions. Yes-no questions. Surprise, doubt, if something is incomplete, or maybe with list. Yes-no question. Do you like coffee? Do you like coffee? Rising tone. Or surprise. Really? Or doubt. Really? What, 100? Or maybe when you're giving a list of things like we need eggs, milk, bread, and some cheese. See, we need eggs, milk, bread, and some cheese. Mini dialogue example. Do you like football? Yes, I do. I play every weekend. Where do you play? In the park, near my house. See? So with rising and falling tone. Now let's have a look at natural pauses. Now natural pauses are important to sound fluent in English. Yeah, they help you process the information easily and give enough time to the speaker to breathe and think. Now, where do natural pauses usually occur? At the end of sentences. For example, I live in Jeddah. I work at the university. If I say I live in Jeddah, I work at the university, it creates some kind of problem in understanding. It becomes difficult to follow. So, I live in Jeddah, I work at the university. At punctuation mark, she is smart, funny, and very kind. Before or after linking words, like because, but, so. He didn't come because he was sick. He didn't come, pause, because he was sick. Before important information or emphasis. The winner is Sarah. Also in list or long sentences, like we visited London, Paris, and Rome. If I say visited London, Paris, and Rome, it doesn't sound good. Yeah, it sounds so mechanical. It sounds so robotic. Yeah, so we visited London, Paris, and Rome. And it's much easier to follow this way. In my free time, I like reading, playing football, and traveling. Okay. Also for self-introduction, for example, good morning everyone. My name is Ahmed. I'm from Riyadh and I teach English at the university. In mini story, last weekend, I went to the beach, the weather was beautiful. So we had a picnic. After lunch, we played football. So here is something for you to practice, like choose any random topic, plan using the 1 minute strategy, record answers, yeah, and then you can self-assess using checklists based on fluency, coherence, and vocabulary. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, and share our video with those who might need it while preparing for the IELTS exam. Here is the link of my YouTube channel.